James Ernest of the Grueling Truth Radio Network here with Charles Clay. Charles, what got you interested in football?
Probably playing it at a young age. Pop Warner, I'm not sure. Pop Warner, if you guys call it the same thing, but my dad got me into that when I was really young, and I just stuck with it ever since.
So tell us about the influence your dad had on you in playing football. Did he play football? Did he coach it a little bit? That kind of thing.
He played football in high school here in Hawaii. But he surfed more than played football. And he just loved the sport, and he gave us a chance to play every sport out there. Baseball, basketball, the big ones. And football just stuck with us the most. He did play in a semi-pro league as we got older, too, which kept us into it. And to see our dad play a little bit, too, was cool. But, yeah, it was just by choice mostly. Our choice.
So it sounds like you played a wide variety of sports. What other ones did you enjoy a lot?
I would say in high school I ran track as well, and I enjoyed that a lot. And other than that,
what is it? Sprints or distance that you ran in high school?
Yeah, I did sprints, 4x1, the 100, 200. And then other than that, it's mostly just hobby sports. I enjoy like surfing, fishing, and things of that sort. Water sports.
Did you have any high school coaches that really made an impact and help you to get to that next level?
I went through my story in high school is I tried out my freshman year, and I ended up giving up. I was too skinny. I was actually riding motocross a lot. That was my sport before high school. And I hadn't played football in a couple of years just because of the age limit in Pop Warner and to high school or something. And I didn't try out to my junior year. And I made the team my junior year. I had a great coach, Coach Al. And he left my junior year, and I had a new coach my senior year of high school. So I had two head coaches. So their impact on me was only within a year,
With starting the football process late in high school, what was the recruitment process like for you? Did you have any colleges that were knocking on the doors, that kind of thing, before you went to Hawaii?
No. I had some Division III, like I had Linfield come and show interest in me from Oregon, and some junior colleges, and then Southern Methodist University came, and they had a Hawaii coaching staff there with June Jones and some other guys, and they showed interest in me, but only as a walk-on, and that was about it.
So it sounds like you made it an easy decision going to Hawaii.
Well, I didn't start at Hawaii. I started at Southern Methodist University. I played there for 2 years in Texas.
Yeah, that must have been an interesting culture shock going all the way out to Texas.
Yes, it was something I needed a lot, coming from where I'm from.
So what do you feel the biggest difference was there?
And just the football culture there is on a level I've never seen before. I mean, my mom took me up there. I didn't go on a visit or anything. I just went up there right before the fall semester, and my mom dropped me off. And it was my first time I've been outside the mainland, into the mainland by myself. And I was just like, this is another world to me.
I can imagine. I mean, Texas is just a weird place for anybody, but especially coming from all the way, in Hawaii. Wow. That,
Yeah, it was great, though. I needed that.
So was it that you missed home? Is that why you transitioned from SMU to Hawaii?
It was a collection of things. It was since I was a walk-on there, I was paying out-of-state tuition. My parents were helping me out, and after 2 years, I tried to earn a scholarship, but just playing special teams, they didn't think it was enough for a scholarship. So I told myself I'll go home and try out for Hawaii, and the tuition will be a lot cheaper for my parents.
I know what you mean.
So
Yeah, out-of-state tuition is ridiculous. I agree with you. They jack it up way too much.
Yes. So it was just, and I just figured I had to do it. It was another challenge, but.
At that point, were you a cornerback, a safety? Obviously, you were entrenched in special teams play, but on defense, which one did they have you doing more of at SMU and Hawaii? Yep.
I was at SMU. I went there as a wide receiver, actually. So I was in the run and shoot with June Jones, and I was a receiver there for 2 years with him. And then when I transferred, I was a receiver 1 year with Coach McMacken at UH. And then when he left and Norm Chow came in, I was a receiver for 1 semester or the spring ball with Coach Chow. And I think it was like the last 2 practices he said, hey, you're killing it on special teams. You lead in tackles on special teams. And my sophomore season, I had 3 forced fumbles just playing special teams, all on kickoff. And he's like, we're going to give you a shot at defense at the practice. And I was like, all right, it's fine with me. I always kind of had that pull me, the defensive side of the ball. So I didn't play defense till my junior year.
I was going to say, I'm starting to notice a pattern there. Like in high school, didn't start playing to the junior year. In college, didn't start playing defense to the senior, halfway or partway through the senior year. So, wow, to be able to catch on so quickly.
Yeah, I kind of, my story is kind of all over the place. I went through 3 coaches in college, 2 coaches in high school, 6 positions. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, just imagine what you would have been able to do if there would have been more consistency there from the coaching staffs and a lot of the other opportunities.
Yeah.
But still, you were, Special Teams Player of the Year for Hawaii your senior year?
Yep. Yeah, I was lucky enough to earn that honor.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's quite impressive. One of those phases of the game that unfortunately people overlook too much, but seriously, is a good third of the game. It's very important. If you don't get the field position, it makes it tough.
Yeah, I was lucky too. I've been under a bunch of very good special teams coordinators throughout my journey. That's one coaching position that was always very consistent. Very good coaches. I had 3 different ones, but they were all very good. Had a big impact on my football career.
I was going to say, I used to be a scout for an arena team, the Northern Kentucky Nightmare, and then the River Monsters. I know I would have loved to have went to Hawaii's Pro Day. Unfortunately, it's mostly schools here in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. But tell us what your Pro Day was like for Hawaii.
Yeah, my Pro Day was probably the most important day in my football career because, just speaking about my career, I wasn't on the radar. My name wasn't known. So I took a lot of training. I trained at this place, Tactical Fitness, and Tactical Strength in Honolulu, and it was a huge day for me. And I just went up there and I zoned out and did my thing. I ran a really fast 40, 4.42, which was I forget what it was, but it was either second or third out of all safeties that year. And I jumped really high, I jumped higher than I've ever jumped before. Everything was great, and that opened up a lot of doors for me.
Yeah, I was going to say I can imagine with not being on the radar to go into being invited to a camp. I mean, that's shoot out of nowhere. That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
the report obviously on you was of course about your speed with like the 4.42, being quick, fast, and explosive. You know, but you also, a lot of people emphasized your relentlessness, your work ethic, that kind of thing. Who do you feel really taught you that work ethic growing up, or coaching wise, or who really influenced you on that?
oh, that was my parents for sure. I mean, my dad has his contracting business, and he built that from scratch. And him and my mom, he started like from ground zero. So only since I've been a little kid, I've been on the job site with him, and I've just seen how like what it takes, to start from the ground zero. So I don't know. It's just a habit of mine. Just if you're gonna do something, you're spending your time and all your effort. Why not get the most out of it? It's like a second nature thing. I don't know. It's just never really think about it.
Going into camp undrafted, what was that like? Being up there in Green Bay, obviously, being in the summertime, the weather wasn't so bad there, and compared to the end of the season where it's just ridiculously cold, and I'm sure would be a heck of a culture shock from Hawaii to there. What was that process like getting into the camp and all?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, I got the call. My agent said you're invited to mini camp, and the process wasn't. It was clear, but I didn't really understand what was going to happen. So I went there and I show up to the stadium. They pick us up from the airport, and it's just. Lambeau is just like it's something else when you first walk in there, and they took us to see the field, and you're getting all of these scans and exams and getting your fitted for your equipment and everything, and it's just like it's a lot to take in. And but I wasn't sure what was going on, so I just went in there thinking I was on the team. I didn't realize that at 3-day minicamp you still had to earn your spot. So I went in there and it was all in the indoor facility, and I didn't know who was there. I thought that was all of the guys on the team, but it was really just all the other guys who got invited to mini camp and then the draft picks. And I'm just out there doing my thing, like not even thinking about it. And then the last day, we're at the last meeting, and as everybody stands up, they pull me on the side and they're like, "Hey, Charles, stay later." And then he's like, "When everybody leaves, don't leave." And then he's like, "But don't tell anyone." And I was like, "What are they talking about?" And then as I got to the locker room, I'm sitting there in my locker. Everybody's shaking my hand, telling me, "Nice to meet you," leaving. And I'm just sitting there quietly, like wondering what I'm supposed to be doing. And as everyone left, they pull me on the side and they're like, "Okay, we want to sign you. You're not going home." And I was like, "Oh, well, I got some phone calls to make then."
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a surreal experience.
So what's it like riding a bike to training camp?
that was pretty awesome. I mean, when the field is empty, you get maybe like 2 or 3 people asking for autographs. You go in for meetings and you come outside 3 hours later, and there's like 10,000 people at the gate waiting for yelling your name. They know everything about you. I mean, it was insane.
Their fans.
I had like people asking me, "Huh?"
Oh, I was going to say they sure are passionate, like you said, knowing everything about you and just the intensity level of Green Bay fans.
Yes, they're very, very, very nice people, and they love their football. They love their team.
So, did you get to play in the exhibition games, that kind of thing, preseason? What did they have you doing? More safety, more corner? I even heard there was some outside or inside linebacker at one point.
Well, I started mini camp at corner because of my weight and height. I mean, I was a kind of a small safety, but when I first got there, they kind of realized that the numbers didn't really speak for how I was built, you know. So after the first day, they moved me back to safety at minicamp, and that's where I played throughout the preseason. Was just primarily on at nickel and safety. I didn't really get the chance to any linebacker because there was so much to learn at safety. But they really started to give me a good look at the nickel because I played pretty good man coverage. So, but yeah, and I stayed through the first three preseason. Was it three? Yeah, three preseason games. All at the safety position.
So with that, did you get an opportunity to learn from some of the other players on the team? Something you might have taken with you to Canada?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I learned so much football in that small time frame. Because I played under one system. We played under a man-free system at UH my 2 years there. And I mean, it's good football, but it's really pretty basic. We don't play a lot of zone, you know? So there's a lot to learn, and we played a lot of fire zones and stuff at Green Bay, and I learned a lot from my head coach, from my defensive back coach there. And Coach Perry, he was great. And all the guys there were really nice. I mean, Sam Shields was always talking to me, making sure Devon House was there, and he actually comes to Hawaii every offseason, so he would pull me on the side and tell me what I need to improve on, and stuff like that. So they really took me in and made me feel welcome, because sometimes I heard other systems, they don't like that because you're literally trying to take the other guys' jobs, But I never felt that way there.
That is awesome to hear. Yeah, I mean, just such a first-class organization doing things the right way. And then from there, transitioning to Canada, transitioning to arena ball. So you've definitely got an opportunity to play all the different styles of football. What were your 2 stints in Canada like with the Tigers and the Red Blacks?
So after I got released from Green Bay, the Red Blacks picked me up when the roster expanded, and I was there for the end of the season. My time there at the end of the season, I went up there and I was trying to do my best, and I was going really hard at practice, but they had a losing season. I think they only won like 2 games or something. And when I got there, they weren't trying to make any changes. They were just finishing out the season, and they were going to move on to next year. I was asking for a playbook, and they were like, "Oh, don't worry about it," and stuff. So I was just running around at practice, and I was kind of like, "Okay, so I'll regroup and get ready for next season." And they brought me in for mini camp, and it was the first day. It was a 3-day camp, I think, and the first day of practice we were doing one-on-ones, and I don't know how I did it, but I stopped abruptly on the turf and I bruised both of my heels. Like, I had contusions in my heels. And it was a bad move. Like, one thing I regret was not going to the trainers. I tried to push through it, but my performance was very subpar, so they ended up releasing me after that. So that was probably one of my biggest regrets, was not speaking up about that. And then after that, I went to Arena. Yeah, I went LA Kiss.
That is awesome.
And
were you on the show at all?
Yeah. When I was there, they didn't have the show. Was it the year before they folded? No, they played one more year after me, and then they folded. I just went up there for, I think that was the last half of the season as well. So I went up there and went to LA. Well, my wife is from LA too, so it was kind of I wasn't playing football, so it was a no-brainer move,
So is that where you met her, or had you already met her prior to going there?
What was that? Sorry.
Did you meet her in LA, or had you already met her before you joined the KISS?
I met her at the University of Hawaii. Actually right after in 2014, right before I went to Green Bay. I met her.
Oh, nice. So she was like a college sweetheart.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you up to
So she's
nowadays?
been with me through it all. Huh?
So what are you up to nowadays?
Nowadays I am. Well, I'm not sure if you heard, but or read that I tore my ACL, LCL at the end of my Germany season last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to try to make one more run for the NFL or CFL, but after I tore my knee, I kind of just called it quits because I'm 27 and I just came off a pretty bad knee injury and hoping on a call. So
any plans on coaching or anything like that in your future?
Yeah, I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, I want to start to get into the high schools here or wherever I can. Maybe even start like little camps and stuff. Because
awesome.
just where I'm from, yeah, where I'm from, we don't get a lot of exposure. I mean, we only have one college, and it's a community college. They don't even have a football team, So to be able to give these guys the experience that I had to be able to go out, see Texas and see California and all of this different things,
Oh, it sounds great. I mean, like you said, being able to see the world, Canada, Germany, I mean, all kinds of interesting places, getting to travel and, live your dream of playing football. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's an easy, I mean, if you put your mind to it, you get an education and you get to see the world, like you said, with football, so it's important. So, I'm going to try to get back into that.
Any advice you would give the next generation?
I mean, if you're, like I said earlier, I mean, if you're going to do anything, just put all your effort into it because your time and everything is going to go to waste and you don't have much time, We only got so much time. So if you're going to do something, put your heart and soul into it. And it might not seem like you're not always going to be successful or have success with what you do, but it'll pay off in the long run with, habits or morals or characters, sorry.
Sounds great. Any social media kind of things that if fans wanted to learn more about you that they could check out?
Yeah, I have my Instagram, my Facebook. I'm not on Twitter that much anymore, but I have my Instagram is Charlie Boy. It's CharlehBoi. Not even too sure. And then you can just search me, Charles Clay, on Facebook.
Thank you, Charles, for coming on the show. We greatly appreciate it, learning more about your career and just, how that, if you keep working, you have that work ethic, dedication to it, that you can achieve great things in the world of football.
Oh, yes, definitely.